In Washington, few speak as bluntly or as unapologetically as Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana. He's become a fixture in the halls of Congress, known for his sharp tongue and even sharper wit. His folksy, no-nonsense style makes headlines and divides opinion. Supporters love his candor. Critics brace for impact. Whether you agree with him or not, Kennedy's words rarely go unnoticed. Kennedy's talent is distilling complex debates into sharp, memorable one-liners, the kind you'd overhear at a small-town diner or see quoted in the morning paper. He has a knack for making politics feel personal and immediate. This isn't just a persona, it's his political brand, carefully crafted over years in the public eye. He's the straight shooter, the man who claims to speak truth to power, his truth, anyway. Kennedy's approach is to cut through the noise, even if it means ruffling feathers. When Kennedy talks, it's never in the careful language of most politicians. He goes straight for the jugular, unafraid to stir controversy or spark debate. That's why his recent comments about Texas Representative Jasmine Crockett are making waves across the political spectrum. Crockett, who just announced her run for the U.S. Senate in Texas, is now firmly in Kennedy's crosshairs. Their clash is quickly becoming a focal point in national politics. On December 15, 2025, Kennedy declared, without hesitation, that Crockett is wrong on every issue. The statement was as sweeping as it was provocative. This isn't a policy disagreement, it's a total rejection of her platform, a public challenge to everything she stands for. For Kennedy, Crockett represents a kind of politics he sees as dangerous, a threat to the values he's built his career defending. His warning isn't just for Texas, it's a national call to arms, urging voters everywhere to pay attention. Kennedy frames the political fight in black and white, right versus wrong, common sense versus nonsense. There's no room for gray in his rhetoric. He's not just disagreeing, he's casting Crockett as a threat to his values, and by extension, to the values of his supporters. By drawing this line, Kennedy is rallying his base for a high-stakes battle, energizing his supporters for what's shaping up to be a defining contest. It's classic Kennedy, setting the stage for a fierce Texas Senate race, one that promises to be as unfiltered and combative as the senator himself. So, who is Jasmine Crockett, the target of Kennedy's fire? Her name has been making headlines, but her story goes much deeper than recent controversies. Crockett is a two-term Democratic congresswoman from Dallas, with a background as a civil rights attorney. She's known for her sharp, legal mind and her unwavering commitment to justice. Her journey began in St. Louis, moved through Texarkana, and landed in Dallas, where she built her reputation fighting police misconduct and standing up for marginalized communities. After a narrow win for the Texas House in 2020, she quickly rose to Congress just 2 years later, surprising many political observers with her rapid ascent. Crockett isn't establishment. She's a fighter, known for challenging the status quo and advocating for the underdog. Her boldness has earned her both fierce critics and loyal fans. Her supporters see her as a bold, progressive voice, unafraid to speak hard truths and push for real change, even when it's unpopular. When Dallas Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson retired, her endorsement helped Crockett win a tough primary and runoff, cementing her place as a rising force in Texas politics. That victory made Crockett a rising star in Texas politics, and her influence has only grown since then. On December 9, 2025, she announced her Senate run, shaking up the race and drawing immediate attention from across the state. Former Representative Colin Allred dropped out the same day, leaving Crockett as the Democratic frontrunner against State Representative James Tallarico, and setting the stage for a high-stakes contest. Her rapid ascent, from local attorney to Senate contender, has been nothing short of remarkable, inspiring many who see her as a symbol of new leadership. Crockett's campaign is already energizing progressives and drawing national attention, with supporters rallying behind her vision for a more just and equitable Texas. She's now poised to take her biggest political leap yet, with the eyes of the nation watching her next move. To truly understand Jasmine Crockett's rise to prominence, you have to look back to 2016 and the pivotal case of Jacqueline Craig in Fort Worth, Texas, a moment that would change the course of her career. Craig, a mother, called police after her son was allegedly assaulted by a neighbor. But instead of help, the responding officer dismissed her concerns and shockingly arrested both her and her daughters right there on the street. The entire incident was captured on a bystander's cell phone. The video quickly went viral, igniting outrage across the country and fueling a heated debate about police bias and the treatment of black families. Crockett, then a determined civil rights attorney, stepped in to represent the Craig family. She became the public face of the case, standing up for those who felt voiceless. Her sharp criticism of the police, "You'd get more justice if someone kicked a dog," struck a nerve and captured the national frustration with the justice system. The legal battle dragged on for months, but Crockett's relentless advocacy and refusal to back down kept her in the media spotlight and inspired many in the community. Eventually, the officer was suspended, all charges against the Craig family were dropped, and the city agreed to a $150,000 settlement, an outcome that sent a message. The case cemented Crockett's reputation as a fearless fighter for justice, willing to take on powerful institutions and demand accountability. It became the foundation of her political story, not just a lawyer, but a champion for the ignored and mistreated, someone who would not let injustice stand. When she ran for the Texas House, her work on the Craig case was front and center, showing voters her commitment to real change. It proved to voters that she would take on powerful institutions and fight for what's right, no matter the odds. Without this case, Crockett's political trajectory would look very different. The Craig case was the spark that set her on a new path. It was her launchpad into public life, giving her the platform and credibility to run for office. The Craig case didn't just make headlines, it made Jasmine Crockett a rising force in Texas politics and a symbol of hope for many. So, what does Kennedy mean when he says Crockett is wrong on every issue? His main gripe, her progressive stances, especially on police reform and the economy. Kennedy sees her advocacy as anti-police and dangerous, arguing it undermines law enforcement and public safety. He also paints her as part of a far-left movement out of touch with Texas values. Policies like the Green New Deal and Medicare for All, in his view, are radical and harmful. Kennedy criticizes her combative style, calling it divisive and unproductive. He frames his own bluntness as common sense, while labeling hers as ideological warfare. For Kennedy, Crockett's entire philosophy is fundamentally flawed, a threat to Texas and the nation. His message voters should reject her vision completely. Kennedy's critique is also a warning to Democrats. Backing Crockett could be a costly gamble in Texas. Texas remains a conservative stronghold. Democrats haven't won statewide since 1994. Some argue the party needs a moderate to win over independents and soft Republicans. Crockett's progressive platform and history as a police critic make her an easy Republican target. Critics fear she'll be painted as too radical, energizing the GOP base and alienating swing voters. The debate excite the base with bold progressivism, or play it safe with a centrist. With Colin all read out, Crockett is now the leading progressive voice. The primary will force Democrats to choose passion or pragmatism. Kennedy's attacks are designed to stoke these doubts and divide the party. The stakes for Democrats couldn't be higher. Crockett and her supporters see things differently. They argue that playing it safe has failed Texas Democrats for decades. Their strategy mobilized new voters, young people, women, communities of color, by offering bold, unapologetic progressivism. Crockett frames her positions as just and necessary, not radical. Her passion, they say, comes from first-hand experience with injustice. For her, Kennedy's attacks are a badge of honor, a sign she's challenging the status quo. The message: Texas Democrats win by being bold, not by watering down their values. This isn't just a fight between two politicians, it's a battle for the future of Texas Democrats. One side urges caution and moderation, hoping to win over the center in a conservative state. The other, led by Crockett, believes only bold progressivism can energize a changing electorate. The 2026 Senate primary will test these competing visions. With all red gone, the contrast between Crockett and her remaining opponent, James Tallarico, is sharper than ever. The outcome will signal which path Texas Democrats choose: passion or pragmatism. The stakes are high. Control of the Senate could hinge on this race. The choice will define the party's identity for years to come. It's a referendum on what it means to be a Texas Democrat. The party's soul is on the line. This Kennedy-Crockett clash is about more than one Senate seat. It's a preview of America's political future. Both sides see the other as a threat to their vision for the country. Texas, at a demographic and political crossroads, is the ultimate battleground. The 2026 Senate race will test whether Democrats can finally break through in a state long dominated by Republicans. Kennedy's involvement shows the national stakes. Control of the Senate could hinge on Texas. The outcome will ripple far beyond state lines. As the election cycle heats up, this rivalry will define the narrative. Kennedy represents traditional, rural America. Crockett, a new, diverse, progressive wave. Their fight is a microcosm of the country's larger struggle. The winner could reshape the political landscape. In Texas, and in America, everything is on the line.